Hello. So data from the tax office has come out pretty much every year saying that 90% of landlords are doing their tax returns wrong and that they're going to be focusing on that this year. They said the same thing last year. They're saying, we're often seeing landlords making mistakes when it comes to repairs and maintenance. It's interesting that they frame this as mistakes when it's 90% of landlords. An interview with the second commissioner from the Australian Tax Office revealed that, he thought this was startling. And he also said it's either entrenched sloppiness or it could be better described as tax fraud. But yeah, the official ATO statement is that it's 9 out of 10 landlords are just making mistakes. This is particularly interesting if we compare it with what happened, I guess, with Robodebt, for example, where welfare recipients weren't actually making mistakes. But Alan Tudge said, "We will find you, we'll track you down, and you'll have to repay those debts, and you may end up in prison." So considering welfare recipients weren't actually making mistakes and they introduced, this program called Robodebt, which was going to save $1.7 billion over 5 years. Meanwhile, landlords are costing the taxpayer $1.2 billion every year by committing tax fraud or, making mistakes as they frame it. The Australian government's response to welfare recipients was to try send them to prison when they weren't actually making mistakes. But our response to the rich is, look, we will probably audit some landlords and say that they're, just making mistakes. Landlords have so many options available to them to make genuine deductions on their tax returns every single year. But instead, they're overclaiming, they're inflating those tax returns, and they're taking even more money from the Australian taxpayer. And I think maybe we should probably do something about that.